As 100% of the internet is probably aware of, there has been this video 1 month ago titled
Dear Fat People.
And the internet being the way it is, it was discussed by all sorts of people. There have been sensible reactions.
Now in this video, Nicole attempts to deliver a message to fat people.
For the most part, I agreed with her stance. I just wouldn't have said it in that manner.
Some personal.
This whole Dear Fat People video came out, so I saw the video. I was like trying to avoid it because, like, honestly, those kind of videos, to be honest, just trigger me. They just
think she is a really bad person. I kind of do in a sense.
Some attention whoring.
I can't even form words. What are you doing?
Some reactions were incredibly funny.
But I got asked to do a benefit gig recently for sufferers of obesity. What? She went, sufferers of obesity. I went, do you mean fat people?
Oh no, that wasn't a reaction to No Name Arbour's video, it was just an example of a well-done fat joke, because that tends to be a common criticism.
All offensiveness aside, it just wasn't funny.
Rape jokes aren't funny.
Depends on the rape joke.
Fat jokes aren't funny.
Depends on the fat joke.
Racist jokes aren't funny.
Depends on the racist joke.
Homophobic jokes aren't funny.
You aren't funny. You are trying too hard. That's my personal opinion at least. You see, your sense of humor is personal. People laugh at different things. And sometimes the thing somebody laughs at is a naughty thing.
If you want something to be comedy, you should say something funny. Like, make a joke. Nothing was funny.
Funny. Adjective. Providing fun, causing amusement or laughter, amusing, comical. Attempting to amuse. Like in, did you really mean that, Nicole Arbour, or were you just being funny? I got a few very mild chuckles out of Dear Fat People, mostly because of her time. Ming. Timing alone can make an act amusing in spite of its content or even without any content at all.
How stupid do I look? Don't answer that.
Hey, to me this video proved only one thing, that people need to learn to take a joke. Putting Nicole Arbour aside, fat jokes can be funny. You might not find a particular joke or topic funny, but others might laugh at it, and that's all it takes for it to be classified as funny.
She went, sufferers of obesity. I went, do you mean fat people? She went, no, because obesity is, well, she actually went, no, because she was eating. She went, no, just, between snacks, like, and she went, obesity is a disease. No, it's not, is it? You just like eating, don't you? No, it's not, is it?
Dear Fat People.
So now it's me jumping on the Dear Fat People bandwagon. Very late, admittedly, but there have been other topics that I consider to be more interesting. But for some reason, this video is still being discussed all over the place. And from a foreigner's perspective, this is a rather American phenomenon. There is something you need to know. As a European, the idea of obesity being considered a disease rather than the result of bad habits is very strange to me. There are obese people in Europe too, obviously. But do you know what's the first thing that literally everybody I know who visited the USA tells me about? How shocked they were because of all the obese people they had seen, and they mean mortally obese. That's a comparably rare sight around here. Most Western countries have an obesity rate somewhere between 7 and 15%. The obesity rate in the US is about 30%, followed by Mexico, the UK, the Slovak Republic, Greece, Australia and New Zealand. And the graph I showed doesn't specify on the level of obesity. Of course, there are various reasons for obesity. Your diet, obviously, as well as lifestyle, illness, social situation and genetics. Usually, obesity is a combination of different factors, but the bottom line is, in the vast majority of cases, it is possible to lose weight. It is much harder for some people to stay or get healthy than it is for others, and that's unfair. I don't think you should taunt a person just because he or she is obese. That's mean, and when we are talking about a grown-up playground bully, it is justified to call him or her out. But there are situations where you might laugh at an obese person without any ill intent at all. Schadenfreude.
Now I get on the plane, I find my lovely seat, I'm sitting in the aisle, and then a stewardess walks up to me. Hi ma'am, I hate to ask, but we've got a disabled passenger. Would you mind switching seats? And of course, because I'm not an asshole, I'm like, oh my god, of course, yes. Oh look, it's Fat Family, and Jabba the Son sits right beside me. I just lost my shit. His fat was on my lap.
If that anecdote is in fact true, I understand why she might be annoyed. Sorry, I just do understand it. When people invade your personal space for whatever reason, you have a right not to be happy with that. However, I'm a very polite person and I wouldn't comment on it and go out of my way not to show my contempt. And I'm giving Nicole Arbour the benefit of the doubt here and presume that she wouldn't do that either. That she was in fact grossly exaggerating the situation for the purpose of comedy. Her discussing that in this video is a completely different thing. I don't know an obese person's personal situation, but I couldn't help but assume that the reason is not genetics, because that's rare. It's not exactly the go-to explanation. Like many other medical conditions, obesity is the result of an interplay between genetic and environmental factors. Polymorphisms in various genes controlling appetite and metabolism predispose to obesity under certain dietary conditions. The percentage of obesity that can be attributed to genetics varies widely, depending on the population examined, from 6 to 85%. So that means I was wrong about the genetic aspect, right? No, because do you know how the writer of this Wikipedia page came up with this incredibly vague number? Because he or she combined all hereditary reasons mentioned in the cited study and passed them off as genetic. Your parents are obese and so are you, that's automatically genetic. When in most cases, it only means that you adapted your parents' unhealthy diet and lifestyle. Here's what the study actually concluded. Unhealthy diet and physical inactivity have been identified as primary determinants of the increase in the incidence of obesity. It is likely and reasonable to assume that acute changes in behavior and the environment have contributed to the rapid increase in obesity, and that genetic factors may be important in determining an individual's susceptibility to obesity. Additionally, the effect size of individual genetic variants on a polygenic disorder such as obesity is typically moderate to small. That's why it is important to educate and in some cases even criticize obese people instead of granting them some sort of victim status. They have children too, and those children learn how to live and how to eat from their parents. That creates a responsibility. Being obese is not exclusively your own business, at least not when children are involved. And the obesity rate amongst children in the US shows it.
I said, what's the disease? She went, everything tastes good. Everything? Yeah. Not salads.
And if there's people watching this with a specific health condition, this is not aimed at you. I'm talking about the...
But you don't know by looking at them, and by saying they're lazy, like, you don't know. They could be probably exercising 3-4 times a day.
But let's be honest with ourselves here, that's rather unlikely. That's the thing with stereotypes. While stereotypes about Group X may be unfair in regard to an individual from Group X, they usually exist for a reason. Stereotypes are in fact important because they help us categorize things. And that is a useful skill one needs to learn. Neo-Nazi equals violent. Danger, beware. The problem comes in if you don't give an individual from Group X the chance to prove you wrong. That's when a stereotype becomes a vicious prejudice. However, back to the video. I agree with this statement in the vast majority of cases.
Fat shaming is not a thing. Fat people made that up. That's the race card with no race.
I agree with it, because usually self-victimhood like this is used as an excuse. And excuses are the first thing we need to overcome if we want to change an aspect of our lives. I was taunted for being chubby when I was much younger. Did it hurt? Yes, but the fact that I didn't want to put up with that anymore helped me change my lifestyle. However, the main problem with Nicole Arbour's video is her premise.
If we offend you so much that you lose weight, I'm okay with that.
Fat shaming is to motivate someone who is overweight to lose weight by making them feel bad about the fact that they are overweight. What?
I agree with this guy. I'm quite sure that's not the reason why most people who taunt an obese person do so.
Because they work hard every day to find their self-esteem within themselves. And you just tore it down in a 6-minute video.
Oh, no need to cry. This was an attempt at comedy. Nothing more. Nobody got hurt. Again, I simply don't buy into the idea that obese people are somehow the victims of society and deserve special treatment. If I might quote myself here, however, I don't think that obese people necessarily qualify as powerless, as downtrodden. I mean, try to tread down all of that.
But how do you know which
And it doesn't even matter if they've tried to lose weight or not.
Excuse me while I educate with some science rather than just spewing poison.
In spite of your unbearable attitude, I prefer that to crying in the course of making an argument. So thank you.
Making someone feel bad about their bad habits actually increases stress and then causes people to relieve that stress, sometimes by eating foods.
Yes, that may very well happen. But do you understand the concept of motivation? There are very different forms of it, and there are very different ways of successfully motivating very different people. Read it up. It's complicated but intriguing. This is why I disagree with the sentiment of don't stress out obese people. Some of them may shut down, yes, but others might in fact be motivated by some harsh words or merely education. If they come from people they care about at least. Obese people are adult and intelligent human beings, not children who need to be patronized and protected. However, it's not my job to tell strangers to live healthier based on one superficial observation. And it's not Nicole Arbour's job either. I understand that. But you are treating Dear Fat People like an educational video, which it clearly isn't.
And then causes people to relieve that stress, sometimes by eating foods, and generally fatty foods.
Or sugar, but you're right.
Because fatty foods increase our pleasure centers in our brain, and that's how some of us balance ourselves when we're feeling bad.
It's an addiction. Yes, an unhealthy one. You don't help people overcome addiction by telling them it's totally fine. Hey, it's okay. I'm right here. You are just fine the way you are, mate. Don't listen to them. Don't let anybody tell you what to do with your body. Freedom! Exactly, mate. Huh? Free yourself. Huh? Free yourself of all those societal pressures.
Should be at the back of the mall parking lot. Walk to the doors and burn some calories. Why are we helping them? Want to die quicker? Come this way. It's assisted suicide.
Again, I know that she is being unfair to some obese people, but as far as catering to obese people is concerned, she's right. And although her video is a bit too flashy for my taste, this bit was comparably funny.
Anyone who thinks that they know what's going on in any other person's life, enough to judge them and tell them what they should and shouldn't be doing when you clearly don't care. Stop.
Stop caring about people's health? The worst thing you can say about people who do that is that it's not their business, that they are annoying people. And I'm sure you don't apply that same logic to a smoker. I'm a smoker, I enjoy it. I don't smoke in restaurants, and even in pubs I usually ask people if it's okay if I smoke. And I'm still getting comments all the time. It's annoying. You know it's unhealthy, right? Yes, I don't live in the 20s, I'm not stupid, and you are annoying. Why do you smoke then? I'm addicted. I may very well have tried to quit before. I may be trying right now. I'm still not going to whine because people tell me it's unhealthy. Or even that I'm disgusting. but maybe I should. Stop smoke shaming me! You can tell me I mustn't be a smoker on the train. Who do you think you are?
You don't know their journey, you don't know their story, you don't know what they have and haven't done, or what they want and what they don't want.
Exactly. Stop confronting me with the fact that my lifestyle is unhealthy. And if you are close to me and don't want to see me dead, stop confronting me with the fact that my lifestyle is unhealthy anyway. You don't know whether I'm smoking to overcome trauma. You don't know whether I'm smoking to make up for the loss of my mother's breast. It may be difficult to stop, but ultimately it is my choice to do so or not to do so. That's the problem with this focus on people's feelings. With this politically correct joke dissection. People need to learn to take a joke, or even a mean or annoying comment. And Nicole Arbour needs to learn to take the backlash. If the term fat shaming is only applied to people that bully obese people, then I'm with all the people in opposition to it. It's wrong. I think that you should keep a polite distance to people you don't know. And I dislike bullying very much. But Nicole Arbour's video was meant to be comedic. It's not satire. She doesn't seem to know what that word means, or maybe I don't know what she is trying to satirize, but it's in no way hate speech. I don't see an in any way hateful attitudes toward obese people. I don't think she would treat obese people poorly in real life. Even if you see her video as a rant, she is ranting about a general attitude of sheltering obese people from the fact that they are, well, obese. She is ranting about them not being challenged, and she is ranting about lazy excuses. And as I said before, I simply don't buy into the narrative that a video like this will destroy people's will to lose weight. And I especially don't buy into the idea that joking about obesity should be sanctioned.
I also wholeheartedly believe in the right to freedom of expression. And you should be able to say whatever you want to, no matter how unpopular it is. And there, Nicole, I absolutely have your back. But that freedom of expression also allows me to respond to what you say, even if you don't like it. Now, in this video,
I'm the thoughtful contrarian. Feel free to rate, comment and subscribe. I know that this defense of bad jokes may be controversial, especially in the US, and I don't mind dialogue on my channel. And please, don't smoke shame people, even if we smell.